Welcome to Lit with Ernest, the podcast where we dive into the world of literature without pretension or apologies. I'm your host, Ernest, and today we're tackling a classic that's as relevant now as it was when it first hit the shelves, The Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane. This novel is significant in the literary canon because it marked a turning point in the way war was depicted in literature. Published in 1895, it was one of the first novels to portray the brutal realities of war rather than romanticizing it as many earlier works had done. To understand the significance of this novel, it's essential to consider its historical context. The late 19th century was a time of great change in America, with the country still reeling from the aftermath of the Civil War. Crane's novel was influenced by the realist movement, which sought to portray life in a more accurate and unvarnished way. This movement was a response to the Romanticism that had dominated literature for centuries, with its emphasis on beauty, idealism, and fantasy. The Red Badge of Courage relates to several major literary traditions, including realism, naturalism, and impressionism. Crane's use of vivid imagery, stream of consciousness narration, and emphasis on the individual's psychological experience were all innovative techniques that influenced later writers. For example, Ernest Hemingway, who is often credited with inventing the modern novel, was heavily influenced by Crane's sparse, direct prose style. One of the key themes in The Red Badge of Courage is the nature of courage itself. Henry Fleming's journey is a classic coming-of-age story as he navigates the challenges of war and grapples with his own fears and doubts. Through Henry's experiences, Crane explores the idea that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it head-on. The novel's use of imagery and symbolism is also noteworthy. Crane's descriptions of the battlefield are vivid and unsettling, conveying the chaos and confusion of war in a way that was unprecedented at the time. The blue haze of battle, which Henry experiences during his first engagement, is a powerful example of this. The blue haze is a metaphor for the disorienting and dehumanizing effects of war, which can reduce even the most rational thoughts to a primal, instinctual level. The Red Badge of Courage has had a profound influence on literature and culture. It's been cited as an inspiration by authors like Cormac McCarthy, who has said that Crane's novel is one of the greatest works of American literature. In addition to its literary significance, The Red Badge of Courage has also had an impact on our cultural understanding of war. The novel's portrayal of the psychological toll of combat, including the experiences of soldiers with what we would now recognize as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, was groundbreaking for its time. Crane's work helped to humanize the experience of war, revealing the complexities and nuances of human emotion that are often overlooked in more simplistic or romanticized portrayals. The critical reception of The Red Badge of Courage has evolved over time, with some early reviewers criticizing the novel's graphic content and perceived pessimism. However, as the 20th century progressed, the novel came to be recognized as a masterpiece of American literature, with many critics praising its innovative style, psychological depth, and unflinching portrayal of war. It's a testament to Crane's skill as a writer that his work remains so relevant even over a century after its initial publication. So, what can we take away from this novel? Perhaps it's the understanding that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it head-on. Or maybe it's the recognition that war is not just a series of battles, but a complex web of human experiences that can both inspire and destroy us. That's all for today's Lit with Ernest. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about books. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.